Right now, along the eastern edges of India, there is a desperate surge of undocumented migrants heading toward the border. But they aren't trying to slip in, they're trying to get out. This sudden exodus is driven by fear. State authorities in West Bengal have launched aggressive deportation drives, coordinated with a rapid escalation in enforcement from the central government in New Delhi. The border itself presents a formidable logistical challenge. India and Bangladesh share over 4,000 kilometers of frontier, and more than 2,200 of those kilometers run alongside West Bengal alone. To police this expanse and reverse decades of migration, the state is executing a rigid three-pronged strategy. They call it the 3D protocol: detect, delete, and deport. To understand how millions crossed over in the first place, we have to look at the borders drawn in 1947. The partition of Bengal triggered vast population exchanges, establishing incredibly porous boundaries that often ignored local geography. 2 decades later, the 1971 war that created Bangladesh forced an estimated 10 million refugees to seek temporary sanctuary in Indian states like West Bengal, Assam, and Tripura. Many never returned. Over the following decades, poverty and flooding on the eastern side drove a steady stream of labor across the border. Shared Bengali language and deeply interconnected communities allowed newcomers to seamlessly blend in. For nearly half a century, the Indian state managed this as a steady economic overflow. Now, policy has decisively shifted, targeting this historical migration as an urgent crisis of infiltration. The first phase of the crackdown is detect. Before anyone can be removed, authorities have to find them. The hardest part isn't catching individuals at the border fence. It is piercing their bureaucratic cover deep within the country. Over the years, sophisticated networks have evolved to supply undocumented migrants with fake Aadhaar cards, Ration books, and PAN cards, granting them the same paper trails as legal citizens. Because these documents enter the official system, local police cannot rely on paperwork alone. A genuine citizen living in poverty might lack proper records, while an illegal migrant might hold a flawless set of forgeries. To cut through this forged paper shield, Home Minister Amit Shah recently announced a targeted countermeasure, a high-level investigative committee. Instead of relying on street-level policing, this panel is mandated to look at data. They are tasked with analyzing census figures district by district, searching for abnormal population spikes that could reveal new, undocumented settlements. Detection has evolved from a matter of local patrols into an exercise in data analysis, hunting for statistical anomalies across millions of local records. Once a statistical anomaly flags a suspected individual, the state initiates the second phase, delete. This involves systematically stripping a suspect's name from official databases and revoking their civil rights. The legal mechanism driving this is the Foreigners Act of 1946. Under this law, if the state accuses a person of being an illegal migrant, the burden of proof rests entirely on the accused to legally prove they are Indian. The ruling party maintains this strict framework is essential. They argue that unchecked migration puts strain on the welfare system, distorts local elections, and creates vulnerabilities for national security. Opposition parties argue the system is prone to error. They warn that demanding extensive documentation from India's poorest citizens will inevitably lead to genuine Bengali-speaking Indian Muslims being falsely identified and deleted from the state system. The Citizenship Amendment Act adds another layer of friction to this process. By fast-tracking citizenship for minority groups like Hindi refugees from neighboring countries, it creates a stark legal contrast in how undocumented Muslim migrants are treated. The state is enforcing a rigid security mandate that demands pristine documentation, colliding directly with the messy, often paperless reality of millions of vulnerable people. The final phase is deport. Stripping a person's legal identity is a paperwork exercise. Physically removing them from the country requires heavy infrastructure. To manage logistics, the West Bengal government is identifying locations for holding centers in border districts like Malda and Murshidabad. These temporary way stations hold suspected migrants under guard, while authorities verify nationalities and draft deportation paperwork. But this creates diplomatic gridlock. Bangladesh border forces have intensified patrols, demanding deportations go through strict formal verification channels rather than informal pushbacks.
India can detect and delete individuals internally, but the entire process bottlenecks right at the fence. Completing the protocol requires a neighboring country to agree with India's internal findings and open its gates. The events at the border are the physical edge of a much larger strategy being directed from New Delhi. In recent addresses, the Prime Minister explicitly tied illegal migration to the country's most pressing internal issues, linking border crossings directly to rising unemployment, land pressure, and organized demographic change. New Delhi now classifies undocumented migration as a top-tier national security threat, moving it out of the realm of routine local policing. Treating migration as a security threat means local authorities are no longer acting alone. It now pulls in intelligence agencies, census commissioners, and defense planners for a coordinated nationwide mobilization. Protocol 3D represents a structural recalibration of India's borders. By integrating census tracking with aggressive enforcement, the government is establishing a long-term mechanism to monitor and control the demographic composition of the East.